over your shoulder when you go that way. This world might take you to a bad, bad place.
What time did you get off the phone? 2 minutes ago. You see the house? Oh shit!
Hey Jason.
Oh my god, man!
Hey, how you doing?
Rough.
Good. I'm Rod.
Hey Jason. I thought you on the phone. Was you? I'm sorry, I'm so broken up.
It's all right. That's not a problem. I prefer, we could sit in our vehicle. I don't want to stand outside.
Or outside, it's fine.
Okay.
I might be able an objection to me getting cancer right now.
No,
I've been smoking like crazy and drinking.
Okay.
We can sit down though.
We sit all the time, so I'd prefer to stand.
Okay.
So just kind of again, I know you talked, I think it was Investigator Conkey the other day or so.
Throughout the investigation, before we even went into the investigation, I guess.
Okay.
I've spoken to so much longer.
Okay.
The day all this transpired,
Uh-huh.
I spoke to officers at the scene of the house initially for the conversation. I spoke to an officer in a parked car at the Eau Claire Police Department parking lot.
Okay.
About, I want to find this vehicle number. Like, is there any way you guys can try to find this vehicle?
Okay.
Which transpired into getting a call from someone from Dunn County. I started relaying information to them. Okay. Lost the phone call. Called back a couple times. Didn't really get through to them. It was I'm not sure if it was an officer or a detective at that point.
Okay.
I was kind of going through.
Okay.
So I was in that parking lot. Hung out in the parking lot for a while. Talked to another street cop, I think they said, or beat cop or something. I'm not sure if they said street or beat.
Okay.
But talked to a cop in that parking lot to find out that she had been admitted to a hospital. I went to the hospital, heard little bits from a nurse. A couple of days go by, and then I get pulled out of the bar, like 3 pitchers deep. Get in, talk to someone about all the situation.
Okay.
Talking warrants and things like that. So I hand over my phone because I'm like, I thought they were saying that I bike everywhere.
Okay.
I bike everywhere, and I was like, there's no way I was going to. How could I bike out to Menominee? Why would I want to hurt her? She's like a super close friend. This doesn't make any sense. So I gave over my phone to our police department so they could figure out my movements, I guess, over the last 48 hours or something.
So when you say friend, were you guys? So you were friends? Were you? In my understanding, you guys dated for a while then?
Yeah, we dated for.
Ezra and you. Okay, how long did you guys date for? Or go out, or however you want to?
It would be probably 9 months.
9 months. Okay. How'd you guys meet then, if I may ask?
Well, I was working hospice care up in Altoona.
Okay.
And I got a flat tire on my bike, so I was biking back into Eau Claire from you take the big hill, comes past the big what's the road that has the McDonald's and the CVS and all that kind of stuff. There's a big road there.
Okay.
You take a big hill, comes down that road, you go across, you take the other big one past Harding Hill and stuff all the way down to this area. You scoop past the Lake Street area, come over here, and over the bridge and over to this area. That's my biking route every day, Okay. So as I was coming around the corner by the pawn shop and Just Local Foods, ton of glass and garbage there. Someone had thrown bottles or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So got a flat, and like limping my bike home, and the coffee shop that I drink coffee at, Racy's.
Okay.
I walked my bike down there to lock it up, so that the next morning I could walk back from here, and then change the tube and stuff. So I got there, and it was past midnight, so they weren't serving coffee anymore. But I pounded on the window, and one of the baristas there was my friend. Like, the door was locked, and like he unlocked it, like handed out a cup of coffee, and said we're closed, and then like locked it. And I was like, thanks, I really fucking needed that coffee.
Yeah.
And sat on the bench and just sighed, and all of a sudden she popped up from laying down. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, what are you doing? She's like, what was that sigh all about? And I was like, oh, you wouldn't fucking believe, one of my favorite guys passed away today. There was a guy that it just irritated me. It was one of the days that like really stressed me out at work. A guy I had talked to about fly fishing and all sorts of shit like that for months. He passed away, and you know how they talked to me at work? They said that 60 something has expired.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so fucked up. Milk expires.
Yeah. Right.
He was a guy that he had to sell his cabin and all these vintage fly rods to pay to be in this place. And like now he's just a number. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, why am I in healthcare?
Yeah.
Well, in the military on the dock, and like you have names and all that kind of shit. Like
Yeah. So that's how you met them with that Racy.
Kind of talked like created about life and just like in general the general like world. For, I don't know, until like 4 a.m. And then there were these college kids throwing beer bottles out of the back of a pickle. And I went over there and like, hey, what the heck's going on? Like, why you guys kids walk on this trail? Blah blah blah. And it was like, okay, yeah, it was an accident. When I walked away, hear a bunch of snickering, then some more bottles get thrown. And it was like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? So then he like takes all his penis and pisses on my shoes. I was like, what the heck, man?
Oh man.
Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah.
Well,
so
I don't know.
And then when was
crazy night? Just like, what is going on?
So when was that then? And when did you guys start going out then? When was that? Like last 9 months would have been into what? Last summer?
We officially started in July. Like,
okay.
But we had been seeing each other for a while before that.
Okay.
We actually said like, we don't have to make it like Facebook official in that sense.
Yeah.
We decided like, I'm not seeing anybody else for sure. And you're not seeing anyone else for sure.
Okay. So is that where she lived in? Was here then with you then?
She lived in Stanley.
Oh, she lived in Stanley. So as you guys were going out, she, I would assume, stay here, but didn't live here?
She did stay here from time to time, but she was mostly commuting because she was, I was under the impression she was going back to class. Like, going back to she was doing printmaking and stuff.
Okay.
Or at, Marquette or Marionette. I can't remember.
Okay.
She was going to college for like printmaking and art.
So what, I guess, just kind of changing the direction here, what's your take on the weekend? I guess that's kind of, your friends, I understand, friends with Alex too then? Yeah. Do you know him? He's an acquaintance?
We talked about spiders and bugs and there was plenty of times like after my last like breakup, I was dating a girl for a long time. And I bought a ring because I was like trying to plug a hole with a ring. And there's one of those things where like we talked a lot after the relationship fell apart. Good pictures, and I knew where he lived because like I'd walk him home drunk a lot of times.
Oh, okay.
Like he was kind of like in this weird quasi like, am I into guys? Am I into girls? Am I into this? Am I into life?
Yeah.
Like we're very nihilistic a lot of times. Like he would write some really weird. I would proofread a lot of his stuff at the bar because he'd be like one of those guys like, dude, you're out of college. Why are you still writing and studying every day?
Yeah.
Like he would write like philosophy papers like all the time.
Okay.
And I would read some and like, this is pretty brutal. It's like about, life is just a rape of like this and that, or like life is just a whatever. And like, I would try to like find the connections, like to see if there was some kind of like optimism and stuff. And I'm like, maybe there is some kind of strange nihilistic optimism in there. There was a lot of entropy and there was a lot of like disorder and pain. And I was like, I never felt like he was comfortable opening up with me completely about maybe what had happened in his childhood or in his life. Because he had other friends for that. Like, we were acquaintances, but like, there was also a little, I'm not sure if there was any animosity because I kind of sort of dated like one of his friends at one point that used to be like an ex-girlfriend. And like, well, I don't know. I kind of asked him about that. Like, is she an okay person? Like, kind of like, I had just been through a really hard relationship. And asking him for like his objective opinion, whether or not she was, healthy for me.
Yeah.
So close, like this is like 3-4 months after the breakup.
So going back to the day that we're trying to piece things together a little bit. I don't know if it was Investigator Conky, because I haven't read any of his reports. We've been just all over the place talking to everybody. What my understanding is, you're at Racy's that day, or you had, and then
I was doing my laundry, so
and as Ezra showed up then?
I was doing my laundry. It was in the wash. Like you pay like $2 and they flop it. They say like drop it off and they'll flop it in the dryer for you, so you can come back.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for that whole like. They'd say give it an hour and a half.
Okay, and this was on Thursday. Okay, Thursday.
So,
about what time was that then?
I think the last time I texted her or messaged her from that area was like 10:30, 11.
Okay.
I'm not sure when she actually showed up at the shop. I mean,
did you see her show up there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was sitting on the bench smoking and talking with friends, and we exchanged like a few words, and it just seemed very different. Like, because like I was under the impression that she was just going to come pick up her mail maybe, or she had talked about changing her mailing address and stuff, but I mean, I didn't know that from what Joe had said that she had gotten a ticket and stuff, so I was like, that's kind of, that's kind of reckless, just driving without a ticket, or driving without...
Yeah, and Joe would be her dad. Yeah.
Well, adoptive father.
Adoptive.
Sure who her...
Right, yeah, adoptive. Okay.
So she was going to change her address?
Yeah, because we were getting all of her mail and stuff, and like her checks and stuff from the school were supposed to be starting to come pretty soon, and she was about to start a new job the next day at the rest home.
Okay.
She had worked in like hospice and behavioral health before, like I had, so that was pretty imperative that she do that, because she was trying to save up money and trying to like get her life back together, paying for counseling sessions, like for this thing. One of my friends, I had to buy a new bed and shit because like one of her friends, or one of my close friends, and also a serviceman, apparently assaulted her in my bedroom. So, I mean, I was going through a lot of that stuff too, like why she couldn't live here and be here anymore.
Yeah.
So
kind of go through that day then. You see her, my understanding, at some point you went over to Alex's to check on her. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's correct.
What time did you go over there then?
Timeline-wise, I don't know, 12:30ish maybe.
Okay.
The responding officers would have a bit better.
Yeah, okay. And that's City of Eau Claire. Okay.
Because they said that they were kind of ambiguous about why they were called.
Okay.
They said it was like possible domestic, possible like, something was amiss.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because her car was sitting there idling, because like that's the same I felt. Like, as soon as I thought, like, she said that she had some stuff to take care of and whatnot, just part of it like made me think like, well, she's been doing these journals for therapy. She's been talking a lot of intense feelings. She's been saying that her voice has been taken by these people, and that she feels like no matter how much she tries to get her voice back, no one's listening or talking.
Okay.
It's like, is she going to drop off these journal entries like in a mailbox or like something like super reckless, because it's two parties that are not in any emotional or physical state to be around each other.
Okay.
So, and like the medic in me, and like noticing these signs of like, we do like suicide and sharps prevention and stuff all the time. And it's like, I got a weird feeling. I got a super weird, I just acted on impulse of that weird vibe. So, biked over to the location, and well, sure as shit, the car was there. So I waited.
Is that the first place you went to?
I mean, I biked around, because I kind of biked towards John's apartment, the other guy that had assaulted her in my bedroom. But by the time I got towards his house, I realized, oh yeah, he doesn't live here anymore because he bought a house out in the country. So, like, oh, this is kind of a fruitless effort because there's no way I'm going to make it out there.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll go back towards the other way. And,
so, so you get back there, and then
I waited across the road for a while.
Okay. How long do you think you waited approximately? I mean, I don't know.
20, 30, maybe even 40 minutes.
Okay.
I think at least 3 cigarettes, and I just, for me, thinking that like this was a situation that was going to be quick in and out, like where someone leaves their car idling.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
My leg started to shake, started getting like, oh shit, like, why is she still in there? Like, what is happening right now? And when I approached, I heard, there was arguing and stuff going on.
So you could hear arguing.
I could hear like heated conversation, like people like saying things, and I was like, okay. So I cracked open the door a little bit and yelled in like, "Hey, like, is anyone in here? Is everything okay?" And then my phone, like, a text message went off. So, like, I have a very distinct ringtone, and I could hear her say, "Let him help you." And I freaked out because I thought, okay, from what I know of the Alex situation and their relationship, she had said that, I mean, I bandaged him up once when he slit his wrist.
Okay.
Because he said, if you don't leave him, I'm going to kill myself.
What do you mean leave him? Was he talking about you? Okay.
So, like, I went over to the house, and this was months ago, I can't remember when. But
Okay.
I cleaned up his wound and bandaged him all up, and I sat and kind of talking about, do we need to go in and do something?
Yeah.
People are not going to understand that this was an act, because he said, I got drunk and I accidentally cut myself with a knife that I got for Christmas. And I was like, this is a really weird place to accidentally cut.
Where was that at then? On the wrist? Okay.
And I was like, this is not a place you accidentally cut yourself out.
Okay.
And he's like, no, you have to believe me, it was just an accident. I was holding his hands, like I knew he was cheating on me. I knew what was going on,
Okay.
like relationship wise. I didn't kick her out. I didn't be mean to him.
Okay.
Like we were still all friends.
Okay.
I just knew there were two people that were hurt.
So I got to back up. I'm a little confused because you said she wasn't staying there, but you weren't going to kick her out. So was she with you then, or not with
We
you?
were still together, but I was waiting for her to come forward.
Okay. So she was living here for a little while. Okay. Okay.
She was. After I left, I went to go hike the redwoods back in November.
Okay.
And in October 7th, she had an abortion.
Okay.
So she had
Who?
Ezra had an abortion.
Right. But your child?
Suspected. Yeah, I didn't know anything previous to that, so I was there for her, and I did what she wanted because in my understanding and like my beliefs for the whole situation, whether I wanted those kids or not, because they said it was twins, was that my decision was to like just be strong for whatever decision she wanted. You know?
Okay.
Even though it killed me, I just said, whatever you need me
Okay.
here for you. And
Okay. So I know I'm kind of, so I'm trying to keep track. So you open the door, then your phone rings, and then you hear her.
let him help you.
Okay, and then what happens?
Then I ran upstairs, and I ran upstairs, and the door was slightly open. And I pushed it open, and I said, "Oh my God, you guys scared the shit out of me. Is everyone okay?" It's like there was, from what I recall, like a pocket knife or something, a knife of some sort.
What it looked like from what you can remember?
I can't recall. It was sitting on like a stack of books, I think.
Okay.
And it was like, I wouldn't say like there, like but it was
close to him,
like arm's reach,
Okay.
He was sitting interior. She was sitting
Do
exterior.
you remember a color on it at all, or is it? Okay, you just know it was a pocket knife, or a knife?
Or a knife of some kind. And
Okay.
I said, "You guys scared the fucking piss out of me. This is not the right venue to be having any kind of conversation with what you guys have been through." She's like, "Well, his roommate is here, and he's awake and stuff." So I was like, but still, like, you guys need to go someplace public.
Do you know what they were arguing about?
No idea.
Okay.
So she said that she just needed to talk about what he had done because she's like, "I need to show him like these things so I can move on. I need to talk to him about these things so I can move on because all of this is." And I was like, "Yeah, it's really healthy that you guys are talking. It is healthy, but this is not the right place."
Yeah.
I said, "Do you want me to stay in the building?" And they said, they said, "You can stay if you want." I was like, "I can also wait outside. Like, if that, you have a room full of books, Alex. You're a very educated man." And he like kind of snickered, and I was like, I love you." He said, like, I know you love me, Jason. I was like, I'm here to protect all of you. And he said, he showed me his wrist, and he said, "This is the day I realized how much you could love someone." I was like, "Yeah, because you were hurting me.
Okay.
You guys were both hurting me, and I still care about you more than that." Because people make mistakes, guys.
Yeah. Right. So his roommate was there?
The roommate was.
Do you know who the roommate was?
I said David, or like a D, I think.
Okay. So then you go back outside then?
I told him, like, throw a book against the wall, make a loud noise, whatever you got to do, and I'll pop right back in. If she gets unwild, or if she gets unruly, or you get unruly, like, you guys both know, I'll be right outside, smoking a cigarette, letting, like you guys should definitely rethink this and, like, go someplace public.
Okay.
And
you talk about what they had went through a lot. What are you talking about? What have you done to her?
there was a lot of emotional and mental manipulation in that relationship.
Did she talk to you about it, or
I
what?
journaled a lot about it, and she talked a lot about it.
Okay, what did she say to you?
That there was just like a lot of things that didn't make sense. Like why he tried so hard to take her, or like to get with her, and then the second he had her, he didn't want anything to do with her or something. It seemed like he was just like, it was like she opened up to him, and she was fooled by him into all these things that he'd said, and then the second that she was hoping to like spend time with him and do things, like he just didn't seem to care that much anymore.
Okay.
Like a lot of lying, like
Yeah.
I do her about a lot of things.
Okay.
She felt super hurt. Like she had literally just been through a rape.
Okay.
From what she had said, and like talked to him about
Yeah.
it. He tried to have sex with her that same night.
Okay.
Or she'd be over at her house. Like, I'm really sad right now. Like, I'm super sad, and I feel really guilty about what I'm doing and about my life. And he'd be like, well, why don't you send me some photos, or why don't you do this? And it's like, it was just.
Okay.
She didn't feel like a human anymore. She said that she felt like they were making this mask for her to wear, telling her that this is what we're like, this is what you're like, we can smell our own kind of stuff, like weird stuff.
You mentioned she talked about getting her voice back. What would she mean by that? Is that just terminology of life, or
terminology of life? Just like when you're a victim so often, because she's been a victim since she was a child. First it started off as like uncles and neighbors, and then in high school there was a teacher who, like, after she started talking about how wrong it was, or like how she didn't feel comfortable with what was transpiring, he like left the district from Stanley and moved somewhere else. There was a boyfriend who would hurt her and abuse her, and then like she went to his brother for counsel about it, like, hey, he's not who I thought I was, or who I thought he was, and it's because of me or because of him, or like what's going on, and then he raped her.
do you know where that supposedly happened at?
This would be, I'm not sure if it was when she was in Stanley or Marionette, or wherever.
But you don't know, like, where?
It would be like Gentry, and it would be her boyfriend was Hagen. His brother was Gentry.
Last name?
First names. Okay.
First names. I don't know him last.
Yeah.
You know if she ever recorded that?
I think she did. From what I heard, they did the same thing. It was the same thing. They did like a rape kit. They did a whatever, and then like nothing happened. And the same thing happened here. Like,
okay.
Because she was like, what, she didn't tell me about what had happened here until a couple of days later. I thought it was weird that she wouldn't meet me at the house, or like come inside the house, or like talk to me, or like even. I was like, why are you so afraid of the house? Like, this was your home. Like, when you didn't have anywhere to go, like, we gave you this place to stay and do your art, and like we loved you like family. And she said, you just don't know. You just don't know what I'm going through. I can't be there. It's not my place anymore. It's not. I can't live there with you. I can't be with you. You can do better. Like, I'm just not. And I was like, it's not about doing better. It's like, what is going on with you? I leave to go become. I left with my 68 whiskey refresher course, which is like, every 2 years I have to re-up as a medic in the military by going through a course. Yeah. Like, do different tables and stuff. I went to go do that, and like when I came back, everything went shit crazy. Like,
so when was
on for that?
I think it was like 11 or 12 days.
And that was just a refresher course, basically, is what it was. So
you do like paperwork and classes, and then you do like your physical tests. Like, you do like tourniquets, you do airway, you do shock management and stuff like that. You go through all the different trauma lanes, and then at the end you test out blood lab, they call it, where it's just a bunch of mannequin bodies that are hooked up to computers, and you have to assess them and like treat them as fast as possible.
Okay. So can we? And I know sorry, I want to get back to when you were at the house. So you go back outside, and then what happens? And
I'd say, I'm not sure on timeline, but like I'd say within like 5-10 minutes, 2 officers came up first. Okay. I think I was walking across the street to move my bike over closer to the house.
Okay. Where did you have your bike at?
It was across the road. Like, by I think it was a school maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It was like there was like an octagon or something shaped like a little table I was sitting at.
Okay.
And waiting for that 30 minutes or so.
I gotcha.
So like I was walking back over there because I was like, well, I bike everywhere. My bike's worth like $1,000.
Yeah.
And even though like in the situation, I was like, I should probably protect my bike and bring it back over here so I can like, I'm not flipping it.
Yeah.
And as I was crossing, an officer drove by and pulled into the parking lot and said, hey, well, can I just speak with you for a moment? And then we had a conversation. Another squad arrived shortly after. And she, I think it was a female officer. Well, he was talking to both of them.
Okay.
Talked to me a little bit, and I said, yeah, I've already talked to him.
Okay.
I've given a statement, and he's got my name.
Okay. So then you talked to them, and then...
They just drove off. Like, all three of them just drove off at some point.
Okay. And so what do you do then?
I was like, this is why I'm so shaky. It's because I'm so completely torn.
Yeah.
I already thought I'd pushed the limits of, like, I plan on being a serviceman my whole life, you know, and knocking on the door and opening it and calling in and trying to, like, do that kind of stuff. I felt like that was me pushing the envelope a little bit far, like, with what I was comfortable doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure I've never been in trouble in a while. Like, I wasn't sure, like, if that was a situation where I could get myself in trouble, you know? So I felt like, at this point, I see two people, like, why didn't I tell the cops to tail them, like, and make sure they went to a coffee shop? Because they said they were going to a coffee shop.
Is that what they said? Okay. So they came back outside to talk, or they came outside, not back, but came outside, and then you stayed there, law enforcement left, and then what, did they leave together? Or?
I gave them each hugs. I smoked a cigarette with them. I gave them both hugs, and I said, hey, you two are super valued and loved by a lot of people. You know that right now? Like, all this is going to pass. Like, this too shall pass. Like, life's really hard right now, but, like, go someplace public, go someplace and talk, if that's what you guys need to do. Like, if that's what this is, like, because I assume that's what they're, so she's like, yeah, we're going to go talk. And I was like, okay, make sure it's public, make sure that you guys have your phones and stuff on, you know, things like that. Like, I was trying to relay information, but, like, I still was shaken, like, thinking, like, something, because you're taking two people that, you know, you're not sure what their intentions are anymore.
So did you see them drive out or leave together?
I saw them leave together.
And who was driving then?
I think Ezra was driving at that point. It was her vehicle.
Okay.
But,
what does she have for a vehicle again? Just
an older Impala.
Okay.
But, yeah, she was driving, but I think there's a lot of times where, like, when me and her would have conversations and she would get emotional.
Okay.
We would switch off because I would see she was not in a state to drive. Usually when things got escalated, she never got violent or physical with me or angry or anything. She would just, you know, start to shake. She would drop to her knees. She would start crying. She would end up having, like, anxiety attacks. Like, the last time we talked about anything that was really heavy before a therapy session, we talked and she, like, dropped to her knees out here and started, like, hyperventilating and crying and puking. Like, and I was like, it's going to be fine. You're okay. You're okay. I don't judge you. I don't hate you.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Okay.
Like, if these details are, like, if you feel like you have to talk about this stuff, that's fine, but, like, we probably need to have a third party involved because some of this stuff that you're relaying to me is, I'm not adept to managing all of this. I'm not a trained PhD. Like, so, like, she would shut down most times, and there were times, like, when we would drive, and she would just switch off with me because, I mean, she's a bad driver to begin with, like, minus the fact of, like, emotional trauma. So, I have no idea if they went to get gas or went to get some snacks or whatever. Like, I don't know if I was the last person to talk with them.
Okay.
What gas station would she usually use? Or
I mean, I don't know where they were headed, so that's the thing. I thought they went to the coffee shop, so I didn't think anything of it until Joe maybe started talking to her.
What coffee shop would you think they were going to?
I figured they wouldn't go to Rachel's because it was too close. You know, he works there.
Yeah.
She's a regular there, like a lot of stuff. So I figured, well, maybe Acoustic, maybe the ECDC, maybe the new shift. There's a bike shop cafe.
So you know, what would be your perception of what they were arguing about? Just their relationship then?
I don't know what they were talking about because it kind of, like, dialogue kind of quit as I entered.
Okay.
But
so then they take off.
I thought about taking the keys and driving them someplace, but I thought, like I said, I didn't know if that would be considered kidnapping. I didn't know if that would be considered, like, holding someone against their will. Like, I was like, why didn't I tell these cops, like, to, like, follow them and make sure they went to a coffee shop? Why didn't I?
Okay.
This is what
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard for me to process all this.
You're always going to second guess.
Yeah.
What about one what like that?
Because I've been trained to see these things in the military. I've been trained to see, like, and look out for my soldiers and look out for my friends. At some point, my self-preservation of, like, my career and my life took over for, like, the gut instinct I was feeling, because I didn't know the laws and the rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's the guilt that's eating me up right now. It's like,
so that was the last that you saw or heard from them. Now, what transpired as far as what you heard, from when they hadn't shown up or they were missing or gone?
Phil and me started talking because her adoptive father, because she was supposed to get the kids out the bus.
And Stanley.
Yeah.
So he calls you?
Well, I called him and said, hey, I saw Ezra right now and I'm concerned. And he's like, call me right now. So I called him and I was like, hey, she's an Eau Claire. Did you know she's an Eau Claire? And he's like, she's not supposed to be an Eau Claire. I took her keys. And I was like, well, that's like, why is she here? He's like, well, she's not supposed to be driving because she just got a ticket the other night and there's no registration. And I was like, I just paid these parking tickets for her. We paid the parking tickets. We left the DMV and she drove me here to drop me off. We were tailed by a cop for like, I don't know, a mile or so, and then they cut off. So I was like, at first I was paranoid, like, oh shit, there's something else wrong that she's gonna get in trouble for, and then they tailed off. So I was like, okay, it'll be all good. Her registration, I don't really recall. I'd have to say maybe 2 days prior. I don't know. Joe would have a better idea. I might have a phone record or something.
Okay. But you called him that day after you had saw her and were concerned, and he said, yeah, she's supposed to be in Stanley because she's supposed to get the kids off the bus.
So then we talked a little bit. He said, okay. I said, well, let me call Rosie, her mom. So I called Rosie to see if she knew if she had made any plans to do stuff in Eau Claire, because she did have to, like, change over her birth certificate. She did have to do some other Social Security work that she had been working on for this job.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe she just needed to get this stuff done, like, and didn't want her parents to be worried about, like, even though it's stupid to, like, do this behind their backs, but she had already felt like she was, like, letting them down. So if I sneak out there, do all my stuff really quick to come back without them knowing, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to...
Okay. So then what happened? Well, then what do you do?
Then I called Julia, one of her closest friends, asked Julia, because she had been over the night before doing, like, Julia was working on schoolwork.
Okay.
And
what's Julia's last name?
I don't know.
Okay. She was a
close friend, but I could probably find it somewhere.
Okay. Do you have her phone number?
Possibly.
Okay.
I think I just have her Instagram.
Okay.
But
so you called Julia, and then what happened?
So it just was like, hey, dude, Ezra was over last night talking to you, doing some journaling while you were in school. She mentioned anything about Eau Claire? She's like, oh, I don't remember anything about Eau Claire.
Julia back in Stanley then, or?
She was back on spring break, like with her family.
She goes to school at Eau Claire?
Yeah.
So that's where they had contact, was in Stanley?
Yeah, they had contact in Stanley, because, like, she was, well, I think she was a bike ride away or, like, a walk away from that house, so it's kind of easy for her to, like...
Yeah.
I'm looking through this trash because I live... That's a big boy.
Do you mind if we just step in and talk in there? It's a little bit cool.
Come on.
Yeah, just right. It'd be nice and warm. It's warmer out.
Not really.
But warmer here.
Yeah.
I got chilled. Is everybody home right now?
It's just me.
Okay.
I think my roommate's still at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
People coming over to that location?
So you're looking for her? Or why don't you hang on just a second? Since she's get your bite?
Yeah.
Wow. So you don't drive at all?
6 years.
Do you have a license, or you just,
Yeah.
how did you decide to go from biking to
Smoking and biking. I was like,
okay.
one New Year's, I was like, we're going to quit smoking and I'm going to start biking for a while. So then I fell in love with biking. But
Okay.
it became like this, like, there was all this, like, personal growth thing. Like, I'm either going to quit smoking or I'm going to only drive for the military. Because I have to drive the ambulance and stuff still. But
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years ago I started biking everywhere, and I've been building bikes and stuff since then. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect to like fall in love with biking.
So is that the one you ride? I would kind of miss some of that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you ride all over? Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of road bikes too. I have like 6 bikes in a basement of my friend's house. I got like one upstairs.
Okay.
I just have a lot of bikes.
So then, anyway, you're trying to get a hold of people. Let's go from
I'm
there.
trying to figure out where they are, what's going on, and like after talking with Joe, after talking with Rosie, after talking with Julia, I started biking around town, and I checked all the local coffee shops I could think that were in biking distance. Super easily noticeable vehicles. So did a quick scan by all those locations, nothing. So then I biked right down to the police department because when I paid her parking tickets, I paid them online. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I still have like a screenshot of the plate number because I had to use that to do on the website. So and her adopted father didn't have that information. So like, okay, let me run down there. I'll give an officer this information, and then maybe they can try to find this vehicle, like if they're parked, somewhere obscure, like a hotel or something like that's not good juju.
Yeah.
And so I biked down there, and like the front door was locked, so I'm assuming it was after 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they're on the back, where they're usually sitting in their cars and stuff, and there was an officer in his car, and like I knocked on the window. He started rolling it down as I came to knock, and I kind of related like what had happened throughout this amount of time. It's like I'm just feeling really uneasy. Like I don't know. No one's seen hide or hair of these people, and I'm just getting this weird feeling. And
You know what time that was about that you...
Negative. It had to be after 5 because I'm assuming it's after 5 because I'm pretty sure that the front office shuts at 5,
Okay.
and all the doors were kind of locked down. I think they all shut down at 5. It was a Thursday, so like whatever time that they closed the doors
Okay.
on Thursday, it would be after that. And right as I was talking to him, I got a call from Dunn County, and I was like, talking with them, and I was super confused because I'm already like pretty out of it, like stressing with like my friends are fucking missing. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And they were saying like she'd been found that the stuff they were saying didn't make any sense to me. So at first they were saying Owen Park, she found in Owen Park, she found on Menominee Street, like maybe she was walking towards my apartment, and they were saying like she was covered in blood and urine and scratches and stuff, and I was like, what, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And they said I have to wait there, like, until, the cop I was talking, or the officer I was talking to on the phone, at some point the phone, like, went out. I don't know if my cheek touched it or something, and like, the call ended.
Yeah.
And I called the dumb place and tried to get a hold of, I'm not sure who I was speaking to. I don't know, like, what's going on, but like I need to find out like what's going on because I have to relay it to the family, and the family's kind of waiting on me.
Yeah.
And so I spoke with the officer in the car again and said, hey, this is what I just found out. What do I do? And he said, like, let me get a hold of them through my channels, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay.
So I just kind of hung out there by the police station for quite a while, and at one point he said, you're next up, like the next cop or the next guy that is going to come and talk to you. So then I'm sitting there like shaking on this park bench, waiting like an hour and a half, 2 hours to figure out what's going on, just like chain smoking like crazy. And he comes up and like this younger officer and sits down across from me and says, hey, so like she's in the hospital. Like I was like, okay. Like he told me a few like random tidbits of stuff, and I was like, is she alive? Like, is she alive? And he's like, well, she's in the emergency room. I was like, well, just tell me that she's alive. Like, can you just tell me what's going on? And he's like, she's in the ER, like the emergency room or whatever, like, blah, blah, this and that. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is going on? And they called the family to let them know, like, where she was. And I think they had maybe already been contacted because she was going by Monica Carlson, which is not her name anymore. Like, she hasn't used that name in, I don't know, 2-3 years.
Okay.
And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why does she think she's Monica? What is going on? So I biked down to the hospital. Cause like, when we first started dating, she hadn't been eating, and she had gotten really sick. I thought she had mononucleosis or something. Like, I was like, you need to take care of yourself. Like, you're not doing good right now. And, she just was like super ill. And she had left to go back to Stanley to her parents, and she had skidded off the road. And back when she was younger, when she first got her license, she had hit a buggy.
Mm.
Like, there was an intersection. One side was, the part of the intersection she was at did not have the stop sign, but the other sides did. And there was like a young Amish boy that blew the stop sign, and she had hit, because she had the right of way, she had hit him. And the horse was like on the vehicle, bleeding everywhere. There was blood all over her mouth. There was blood all over her legs. She couldn't walk. She could hear the kids screaming in the ditch. And she tried to like crawl out and go to him, but she couldn't like move, and she was shaking. And like when someone finally showed up to help her, she kept screaming like, "Is he okay? Is he okay?" And she tried to talk with like the paramedic and stuff that arrived, and like, "I just need to help him. Is he okay? Is he okay?" They said he's not okay, but we're working with him. We're gonna help him, and like they had to euthanize the horse and stuff in front of her, and all sorts of crazy stuff. And so when I saw her in the hospital that time, it was just like she went back to that. She kept asking me, "Is the kid okay? Is the horse okay?" And I was like, "Oh, you didn't hit a horse. You just went off the road. Like, it's totally fine." And she's like, "Is the horse okay?" And they're like, "No, like." I don't know if she had been spooked by like maybe something came up and almost hit her vehicle again, and she had freaked out, or like had a bad feeling. It's a pretty traumatic thing to have happen to you,
Right.
And it's like with these rapes, with these assaults, and with all these kind of things, like there's way too much trauma in her past.
Yeah. So then you hear that she's in a hospital. Did you go to the hospital then?
Yeah, I went to the hospital, but they wouldn't let me in.
Yeah. And then,
So there was talk about when you saw her, she said about the horse. Is the horse okay? And you're like, no, it's not.
This was months and months and months ago, though.
The horse incident, or?
When she just went off the road.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is like, I was just trying to give you an idea of like, before, like, how I could understand that, like, she, during traumatic times, like, she was having, like, I kind of assumed that was one of those things, like, maybe something horrible.
just triggering something.
Something horrible happened, and she had regressed back into, like, Monica. I wasn't sure where she was or what she was, because, like, when I had met her in that hospital, she had known me for, like, 2 months or so, 3 months. And she didn't recognize me at first, and she didn't know what was going on. She kept asking about the boy, and I was like, I didn't know the story yet, so like, I don't think there was anybody involved in this accident. I think he just went off the road. I think he just went off the road. But it was like, that's the same feeling I got when the detective or whatever he called me. It was like, she's saying Monica, she's saying this, and I was like, oh God, something happened really bad because she's not here right now. They were asking me if she was like a drug addict or any that kind of stuff. I was like, I know she's messed around with like smoking weed and things like that, but
nothing else that you're aware of?
Not like a regular habitual user. She knows I don't condone it because.
Did she use like any meth, any heroin?
Oh God, no. She didn't touch any of that stuff.
Okay.
From what I know, at least. I mean,
a
lot of the friend group that she hangs out with, they're all artists and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's one of those close like poets and writers and philosophers, and they're all college kids. They're all young and dumb. I mean,
so you're at the hospital. What do you hear after at some point here about Alex? And
nothing.
Okay.
I didn't find out any of this stuff until probably 2 days ago, maybe-ish. I don't know. Like, I got my phone back from the detective after I gave him my phone. He didn't tell me anything. Then the next day, I think I was over at a friend's house for a little while. Went back to the coffee shop in the morning to get coffee. And the coffee shop I always go to, one of the baristas saw me and immediately ran into the kitchen and started puking in the garbage. I was like, what is going on? And then the other one gave me like a cup of coffee, and I was like, am I supposed to be here right now? Like, what is going on? Like, why is everything going so, like, what is, and I, like, got a to-go cup and put my copy from the mug in the to-go cup, and I left, and I came back here, and I told my roommate, I was like, something is going on, man. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, something is going on. Like,
Okay.
and he said, yeah, maybe I'll go talk to them. I was like, yeah, like, I don't know anything. Nobody's told me anything. And the detective, the last time after giving me my phone back, said, like, everything's going to come out in the media soon enough and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay. Like, because I said, we just got to find him, man. We just got to find him to get the other half of the story. I kept telling him that, like, what can we do? Like, what can we do to find him?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then after my roommate came back, he's like, yeah, they found the car and they found him. And I was like, found him? Like, he's like, yeah, he's deceased, Jason. And I just, like, cracked. Like, I was like, part of me just kind of knew,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, that car's a gas guzzler. Like, unless it was like a premeditated situation, like, he wouldn't have had enough cash on him to go anywhere, you know, over a long period of time without leaving a paper trail. You know, I run all this stuff in my head. Like, I mean, when I was young, I wanted to be a FBI forensics guy. Like, I studied all that kind of stuff for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I was thinking about it in my head as I was trying to put the pieces together. Like, why is this not making sense? Why is this not making sense? You know, where is this guy?
Okay.
And then it all made sense. And then I was like, oh my god, this is like.
So what did you understand happened to him, and what was
I
said?
just understood that he was found in the car. He was found in the car, and he was deceased, or he was found by a car. Like, some people were saying in the car, some people were saying in the woods, some people were saying this. I was like, all I know is he's found and he's deceased. And I was like, oh my god.
So do you know how he was deceased yet?
Oh, there was like a million different stories going around.
Okay.
People take, you know, like I said, people with pitchforks,
Mm-hmm.
people with like half story and half truth and half whatever, just like they just run with it. Because it's just like everything in the media,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
You know, an article in the paper that says, you know, mental health, you know, triangles of abuse and whatever spirals out of control, and this happens, you know, possible rape becomes murder, or possible rape becomes homicide, or whatever words you have to use, you know. They don't say those things. They say things that are going to sell likes, things that are going to get the paper going, things that are going to get tweets and retweets, and it's like, I tell all my friends, like, you have to, like, stay objective in this.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, don't post on social media. Don't start vendettas. Don't start any of this, because, like, you got to stay on the fence.
Right.
Don't grab your pitchforks, you know, don't do all that crazy stuff. Like, two lives are, like, over right now at this point. Like, until everything comes clear and until the truth comes out, 2 lives are over technically, and like you can't heal with hate.
Yeah. So what I know you guys dated for 9 months. Okay. When you went back for training, it sounds like at some point or somewhere she went out with Alex. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was this thing with John back here. Was it because if you weren't around or gone, she wasn't confident in herself? I'm not talking about just a sexual act. I'm just talking about getting together with somebody. Why do you think that would happen?
I think a lot of times they were preying on what they knew was weak at that moment, because they knew she had been through the abortion. They knew she was trusting. Like, both John and Alex were seeing each other at points too.
Yeah.
They were intimately involved.
Yeah.
So I think that dropped a lot of her guard, you know. She had 2 confidants who said they weren't into females. They said that they were her friends. They said, we've been through stuff too. We've been abused.
Mm-hmm.
I've known people that were abused. I've known this. I've known that. Like, it's like, it's got to be amazing to, like, you know, it's got to be amazing to have been hurt by men so often, and then find 2 guys that you feel like are intelligent, trusting guys who don't see you as a target, you know, or you don't see you as an objective.
Yeah. So do you think? I guess I'm just trying to figure out her mindset. Would it surprise you that her and Alex were going out when you got back then, or were they seeing each other like you guys were going out? I don't.
It was happening kind of behind closed doors, but in a weird way.
Okay.
And like, I think he was kind of.
Did you have any suspicions?
Oh yeah, I kind of knew what was going on.
Okay.
But I was telling her like to be very careful because, like the whole game he was playing, like if you don't leave Jason, I'm gonna hurt myself. If you don't do this and you don't do that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of carrot dangling and like things like that. And I was like, be careful with what you're doing. I'm here for you. Your family's here for you. But like, at some point, you're gonna have to have conversations with people about this because this is unhealthy. You've been through trauma. You've been through this neglect and abuse and all this kind of things.
So you said that Alex and John had a relationship. How do you know that?
I had heard from her. I had heard from other people.
Okay.
I had heard from. I mean, me and John used to get really drunk sometimes.
Yeah.
We're both military men.
Yeah.
I had heard stories.
Okay.
I sat out there and we cried like one night when I was like, I really wanted those kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really fucking wanted those kids. And I don't know how to make up for what I've done. I've lost a lot of people as a medic and stuff. I've lost a lot of lives, but I've never been directly I've never felt so directly involved in the deaths of two people. And it's like that's how I felt. Like I was sad. Like I would wake up and have nightmares.
Where did she go and have the abortion?
It was October 7th, I believe.
Okay. Were you ever aware if she had any other abortions or was ever pregnant? You're not aware, or you know?
I'm not aware.
Okay.
I was there. I have vivid memories of walking around the city, just like lost.
Mm-hmm.
After because she didn't want me in the room to see them take them away on the train.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. Like I took every bus and every train I could to just get lost in that city.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I felt like I couldn't do anything.
How long were you guys there?
She was there for probably an hour and a half. I think the procedure took.
Did she give you anything, any journal and stuff? Because we talked to some people said she was like, I don't want to say handing, but maybe giving journals to people and pictures and stuff like that on that day, Thursday. Did you receive anything from her or get anything from her?
On Thursday?
Yeah.
Negative.
Okay.
I mean, little conversation and then we messaged early in the morning, but I think the only person that she gave anything to that I know for sure was Maxwell. He traded art with her.
Art.
They had like a standing, like I don't know if I have any of her art being around anymore, but she used to paint stuff a lot.
Okay.
And they were both artists, so they had this standing offer that he had a piece of art that he was going to trade for a piece of art for her.
Okay, because someone in our conversations with someone, they said that she had given a journal to Alex and had given a journal to you.
She had emailed me one.
Or emailed yours.
Yes. Okay. I've already emailed it to, I've emailed it to Rosie, her mother, and like she said, she's giving it to, she's going to be giving it up to, her attorney and the police.
Okay.
I think from what, I showed it to the officer in the car when I was hammered.
Okay.
I showed him what I read through it, and that's, I was trying to be like, hey, you want me to send you these things, it's totally fine. I'm trying to be completely open. And then that's when he said, I'm just going to take your phone, that's cool. Or I was like, oh, and I was kind of like, there's a penis on there, man. He's like, it's fine. We see a lot of penises. Like, I've seen 8,000, man. I've been military for a long time. But come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of a weird feeling. I was also pretty.
You said that when you
I was with everything that's going on, anything that's sharp, out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to appreciative thing.
Mostly for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm putting them away.
Yeah.
I'm just all things considered, at least I know in my situation who my enemies are. That's why it's so hard for me to I'm trying to be as open and trusting with law enforcement as I can, because I can't understand what it's like to never know who could hurt you, as opposed to me, I know who my enemy is.
You rode around in her car a lot, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay. Did she have anything in there that anybody gave her to defend herself or anything like that?
I know that maybe a long time ago, can I show you a knife? Is that fine?
So how about .2?
It must be in a drawer.
Okay.
Like, there might have been a knife of some kind, like a cheapy knife.
Okay.
Like a cheap, like, I don't know, some crappy company.
Okay.
I know at some point she needed one for, at some point she needed one for something, and my roommate might have given it to her. But I think that after she cleaned her car out, the last time I was in it, it was gone because when I opened her center console last time I was in there, there was no, I actually needed a knife to cut, like, my shoelaces.
Okay.
This would have been, I don't know, probably 5 days before, like 4 days, 3 days before this.
Okay.
We had been doing like a bunch of errands, and I needed a knife to cut something. And I opened the center console. I was like, "Oh, I thought you had that thing in here." And she's like, "Nah," because it was full of cell phones and like CD stuff and like other bullshit.
Okay.
And she had done like a clean out of her house.
That's I think Investigator Conky.
Oh yeah.
So,
Can I go back out and smoke it?
yeah, you can come back out. Oh my goodness. Well, they were working on. They were talking to other people out there. I couldn't put my.
Talking about that. Yeah, man. Jesus, you guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. I know, it's like...
We were talking about that knife that was in there and stuff. Did you handle that from time to time? The old knife?
Possibly. Like if there was a knife that, like Alex had.
Yeah, if it was still in there.
I mean, it could have been. Like I don't remember seeing it in there.
Okay.
From what I recall, the last time I was in the vehicle. Okay. I mean, I was sitting there trying to go through everything in the vehicle that could have been used for anything.
Okay.
When after I started hearing stuff, and I was like, well, all I know that's in the vehicle are like the horns in the back seat that I put in the window.
Okay.
That was cool, and then that was about it. I was looking around for anything else, and like in my head, like in my mind, like I don't think there's anything dangerous in that car besides like a bunch of CDs. Like maybe you could break a CD. Like I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
So the little knife that she thought she had in there was gone. In your mind, when you saw the knife when they were arguing up in that apartment, did that look the same at all?
I guess I can't really recall. Okay. A lot of stuff was going on at once that day.
This is Investigator Rich Days, or Sergeant. I'm not. He trumps me now. But
Sergeant.
Title guy. Yeah, he isn't really. But what I think what we'd like to do too, just because if you've been in a car and handled stuff with that other little knife, if you like to just take either swab with the DNA, is that all right with you?
My DNA?
Yeah. I mean, because if you've been in there, it's kind of an elimination thing. You know what I'm saying? So, because we have to, we don't come back and say, well, okay, do you remember? Because did you say had you ever handled it when you were in the car at all? Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay.
I honestly, I can't recall. The last time that I was in that vehicle, I had needed to use a knife for something. I can't remember what.
Okay. Well,
I don't recall there being it in the center console.
So that would be, a process for us to.
There were just like some cords and like the garter and stuff like inside the front glove compartment.
Okay.
And then I had opened up the sensor thing, and it wasn't in there. There was like some old cell phones and bullshit.
So who you would ride in there? You of course are. I'm sure Alex did. Do you know of anybody else that rode in there regularly that you would be aware of? We need to talk to
regularly, or maybe Bree and Max. I don't know, my friends ride every once in a while. Because a lot of us, I'm a biker, so I don't drive.
Yeah.
A lot of us that are in the bike culture, like laundry day or grocery day, we'll just pile in and do some shit. We'll get trying to conserve resources and things like that.
Okay.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Not my thing.
Yeah. So is that all right?
Obviously, my car has not moved in a while.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had a car, so you do have a car, huh?
Well, it holds my military gear.
Oh,
okay. My storage locker.
I got you.
So nice because no one's stolen my IVA or my IFAX or any of my stuff. I'm pretty surprised because a lot of class. Well, I'm not sure if it's class 1 or class 3 or what, but it cost me an arm and a leg. Yeah. Some civilian decided they thought it was cool.
I don't have any gloves in the car. Is that all right with you then? So we go down this road and we got just a process of elimination training. Do we have any gloves at all? I got some in the car. I'll go get mine.
You need fingers or mouths or what do you?
Probably just your mouth. Or should I just have, we still needed to have him do it too.
I like to think I'm in fairly loud.
Alright. See you guys. Yeah. Thanks.
So after they left and you left, you never seen them again after that?
I didn't see her again until I went to the psych ward.
Okay. And were you able to talk to her up there?
Yeah, I talked with her a little bit. Talked with her about music, and we did some art together. And it was like we both kind of pulled the table thing up and started drawing, and we played Uno and stuff together. And I was like,
Okay, I'll just open it up. Okay, just,
have to take my cup on.
yeah, good. That'll work. Alright, I'll just
Which color are these going in there?
we'll just go,
Jeez, Louise.
we'll just go each side, okay? Like that, and I'll do one on the other side. Okay.
Okay, we'll do it.
This way?
No, put them in the other way. There you go.
It's cold out there.
Sorry if I'm being selfish about this helps me making you guys reach what's up.
Oh, no, you're fine. It was just getting a little bit cold standing out here for, well, you were, so where did John used to live?
I'm just gonna put this back on the vehicle.
You started driving,
My biking route to work.
okay.
How you doing? Good.
Think about the most shelters. You know, if we like, this is expensive coffee. If I go to Racey's, I can get $1.70 for a cup, and then 75-cent refill. So I was like, after the first one there, I was like, I can't afford to be like spend $5 a cup of coffee here. So I biked back over and kind of like looked around to see if the vehicle was there, and it wasn't. So I was like, okay, cool. They didn't go here. I kind of assumed they wouldn't go here because it's too close to their hearts.
Yep.
And their coffee. So I had a cup of coffee there. Went over, I think, maybe talked to my roommate. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I didn't talk to Alex. I don't think I talked to Alex because he was working. He was training in a new person, so I don't think I talked to him. Talked to some of the people on the benches because there's a bunch of us that just hang out on the benches and smoke cigarettes. Well, drink cigarettes and smoke coffee.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, then like, so like, yeah, I'm gonna hit the trails for a while, guys. So like, went on the trail for a little while. Like that's like my secret spot. I'm just like, it's just like I'm like a mile out of town. You can see on that if you go down the road and like take the bike trail. Goes past like the building where they like store all the dead animals and stuff, like with the roadkill.
Oh, okay.
There's like a little spot out there.
Store the dead animals? Or?
I don't know what they do with them over there, but it always reeks in the summer. Like,
Okay.
I mean, that's what I've been told is that they store the roadkill there. I'm like, why do they keep this stuff? It's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, biked over there for a little bit, hung out, smoked some cigarettes, came back into town. Nothing, still at the coffee shop. And I was just like, this is weird because like when we had last talked, you know, I'd hugged them both, told them how much I valued and loved them, and she had made it sound like, yeah, I'll talk to you in like 30 minutes or so. And I was like, cool, all right, like talk to you in a little bit. And I was like, it's been past 30 minutes. The messages I had sent her on Instagram hadn't been viewed, which I was like, okay, her phone isn't like a regular phone, it's like an iPod.
Okay.
So unless she has Wi-Fi available, like she can't view them. So I was like, this is kind of odd. And also like people like her father and like mother can't get a hold of her events either. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like just let Joe know that I have some kind of off feeling about, you know, whether she's safe right now. Like I thought like, oh God, like she's in the car with this guy who's threatened to kill himself multiple times if she didn't like choose a life with him. And now they're off alone and they're not anywhere public. You know.
Travis may have already asked that. I know you said it was numerous times. Did you ever hear him say that, or did she tell you that?
I mean, I saw the slit wrist and like,
Right. But okay.
When he showed me the wrist,
Yeah.
he told me like this is how much this is when I knew how much you cared about me or cared about people, like, because I'm a medic.
Yeah, right.
No matter what people.
But did he ever say to you, if I can't have her, that I'm going to kill myself?
He didn't talk like
but
that.
She was the one that had told you that. It was numerous times.
Like, when me and him still had dialogue, I was very kosher about it. Like, I went to the coffee shop one day, he was working, and I was like, I got my coffee from a different person, and I saw he kind of walked off, and I was like, I'm just going to go, because I don't know if it's making him feel awkward or something. Like, I don't want to be a dick, you know? And, there was, like, a lot of spite coming his way at the bar. Like, my roommate was there when he said all that shit, and, like, there's some of the rants he would go on and some of the things he would say. And, that building, it's full of such unhappy people sometimes. Like, they're so close-knit, but they also, like, they talk a lot, and they brag a lot, and they argue a lot, and there's not a lot of healthy feelings there sometimes.
Yeah.
And after all this started happening, like with the rape and all that kind of stuff, people were just saying the worst possible things there, and it sucked. Like, I had a hard time going back to a place I loved, because you have some of your best friends, like, saying, like, oh, this and this, she's a fucking slut, and she's a this, and like, oh, he didn't do it, I don't believe he could do this, and it's like, this is why people don't speak up about rapes, guys. You guys complain about, like, women's rights and women's life and all this crap, and it's like, the second someone comes forward, all you do is bash it. It's like, yeah, this is why people don't talk about these things. This is why people don't talk about mental health issues. This is why people don't talk about anything, because the social stigma is drastic. And it's like, you can sit there and talk and, like...
So, down at the coffee shop, who would you consider, like, I guess if you have closer friends down there, somebody, you got your roommate, of course. Anybody else that you would consider friends down there?
Everyone almost.
Everybody in that whole...
Like Eric Soccer, Josh, and Ariel and Aubrey, the two sisters, the Wisnowski sisters.
Okay.
Like,
so everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, we all know it. We're like kind of like a close-knit family. Like, I've had multiple times where, like, one of the girls would be like, we'll be at the joint and be like, hey, this guy's giving me a weird feeling, like, you want to just, like, walk home with me or something, because he's been following me around two bars. And it's like, yeah, we call ourselves, like, the wolf pack. Like, we protect each other.
Right.
Like, I would get a random text and be like, we had a wolf pack, like, the joint wolf pack, Facebook group, and be like, hey, such and such guy in a fedora has been following me, blah, 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 can anybody come down? And it's like, that's what we did. We created, like, a safe ride, like, we did the bike cabs for a long time, like, getting people home, like, that were drunk and stuff, without them driving and making bad decisions, because it's a lot of young people, and a lot of us.
And I know I stepped away here for a little bit, when you were at the house today, they were kind of arguing, you went up into the room, do you recall what they were wearing for clothing at all? If you can recall at all, what they had on?
I think she had a button-up shirt and jeans. Maybe a sweater. I'm not sure if she had a sweater or not.
Okay.
And I can't recall. I think he just had a t-shirt, like a button-up shirt also, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's all right. I was just wondering if you recall.
I'm thinking maybe a blue shirt, like, that she had. I'm not sure of the color of his shirt.
Okay.
But I think she was wearing jeans.
All right.
I don't know.
That's okay.
What did you normally wear for shoes?
For shoes?
Yeah.
I guess I never really started to speak that much. He was kind of an odd duck.
How about clothing in general? Did he?
He was kind of preppy, I guess.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, maybe slacks and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't really recall.
What did he wear for a hat?
Him?
Yeah.
I don't think he wore a hat that often. I don't know. If he did wear a hat, I'm not sure if it was a baseball style cap or...
That's fine.
With Josh and being friends with Josh, had you had, because we have to talk to a few more people, but we did talk to Josh. She said that you guys were pretty close. You guys would come over and
we played
hang out
together and hang out. And,
yeah.
We were like super good. Like me and him hiked the redwoods together. Like,
Okay.
we spent the whole week
Okay.
living in beds together and
Yeah.
airports and watching like crazy homeless people in San Francisco
Yeah.
wipe their asses with their socks. Like it's
Okay.
fucking nuts. It was
Yeah.
it's a whole culture shock, you know?
Yeah.
Did she ever say that Alex sexually assaulted?
She said that when things had happened, like things had gone too fast sometimes, and she wasn't okay with how it was happening.
Okay.
Because like he would do a thing to her called prone. Apparently, she wrote about it. Like where he would push her down onto the bed face down and like choke her with his arm, and like called her like a little boy and a little this, and like he wanted her to be a little boy or something, and she's like, I wasn't comfortable with that. And he would always like be like, well, if it's uncomfortable, we'll just switch this or we'll do that. She's like, no, I don't feel like this. I don't want this anymore. Like,
Okay.
or he'd get mad and be like, well, it's not about you. This is like, I don't know. He was just very unreceptive when it came to like, at any point in a situation like that, you can decide you don't want to do things anymore. She said that happened multiple times, and he wasn't very receptive of it because he would get mad and he would pout and he would drive off or whatever, like walk off and like leave.
So it was emotional more, would it keep going when she said that? Or?
She said that he said it was unfair,
Okay.
like unfair to like let something start to happen and then just like decide you don't want to do that. So like that's not fair to him or not fair to me.
Yeah, that's a pretty personal question, but when he would say that and you're a little boy, was he trying to do for anal or?
I don't know if there was anal or what was involved in that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's like his preferences. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking.
That's why I'm like,
mixed preference there.
It was a mixed preference, and I don't know if he was not fully comfortable yet. Like maybe he just didn't talk to people about what he was really fully comfortable with yet, and he kind of figured that he had found like the perfect opportunity to like have a young looking girl who could also be a young boy for him, and it would be socially acceptable. Like he wouldn't have to come out of the closet or whatever like what was going on. Like I'm not sure what was going on with him. I'm sure he had a lot of stuff going on in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a young, tormented, philosopher, like going through a lot of shit. So.
Did he tell you what he was tormented or what happened with him when he was young?
Oh, not really. I mean, we didn't talk about his relationships all that much when it came to like women or men.
Okay.
I know.
Was he abused even?
We really didn't have that close of a relationship.
Okay.
I mean,
Did he have any other boyfriends or girlfriends that you were aware of?
I knew he had seen Sarah for a while. I knew he had seen a gal. I'm not sure if she had a son or a daughter. He was seeing her for a little while. He never had relationships that were like real, like like in the public eye.
Yeah.
It was always like this girl. Like it was the same with John. It's like super weird that these two guys always were like involved with women, but they never actually produced them. It's like one of those things that makes you like, what's going on like with your relationships? Where like you talk about sex and you talk about these things, but I've never actually seen or spoken to your significant partner. So like, is this just like you're like a Tinder app kind of person, like doing hookups? Are you like only into like a specific thing that you're not on, like you're not willing to like reveal to all of us because it makes you uncomfortable? Or are these unhealthy relationships so you keep them away from the public eye because you don't want backlash? Like, I mean, me and her were super open. Like everyone knew that we were together for so long.
Yeah.
I wasn't like embarrassed or anything or like worried about being judged, even though being quite a bit older and quite a bit like longer of tooth.
Yeah. Okay.
15 minutes is long, man.
Hey, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Kind of really opened up.
Appreciate it.
We
Yeah.
really appreciate it. We're getting a lot of valuable information. And so and I'm just going to ask some blunt, honest questions so I get the answer to them so I can cross them off my list. Did you ever get back in the car with them after they left that location?
Negative.
Okay. Would your blood or anything be found anywhere on that seat?
Negative.
Okay.
I mean, we had in the past had intercourse in that vehicle, so I mean, I don't think there'd be blood involved, but
Probably not.
Yeah. No.
Would there be any traffic cameras or anything between here and there that would see you guys together, you in that vehicle?
I mean, if anything, you're going to find me on a lot of cameras biking around like a madman in this town.
Okay. Okay. You know, and just, you know, so we gotta, when we look at one of these cases, we gotta stay objective, look at everything.
Yeah.
Even when we think we're right on the right trail, we gotta look at everything.
I've seen making a murder and all that stuff. It's fucking scary, man.
Yeah. To fully eliminate, you know, that you had anything to do with any of this, we gotta backtrack a little bit of the places that you went.
Mm-hmm.
Would they recognize you at the shift?
Oh.
Okay, so they know you by name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan Green's like one of my fairly close friends.
I assume that you have no objection to me just snapping a picture of you on my phone. That way I can say, if there's somebody that doesn't recognize you, hey, was this guy here on this date? So they can say, yep, that was him.
I'm pretty much always wearing this jacket, so.
Okay.
So you don't have any objection to that?
No.
It's all right. Yeah.
They won't recognize me if I have a cigarette in my hand.
Oh, boy.
Well, that works for me too, Ed. Okay.
Look, my handsome?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look good. You look good, yeah.
I'm not ready for a relationship, so don't send it to any lady. Jeez Louise.
I don't know, and then I was
Do
gone.
you have any other journal writings or anything that she would have given you?
I just have the ones I sent to Rose.
Okay, and those were the ones on email that
Yep.
that
That's it.
I'm sure they
Investigator
can.
Conkey would
Yep.
have.
Those are the only ones I have.
Anything else that she left behind here at all?
Like notebooks or anything?
Yeah.
Any diaries or anything like that?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I was gone when she moved out, and everything seems to be in order.
Okay.
Any, this painting
That Maxwell and her
that
traded?
Max, yeah.
I think she traded, I thought that she traded one or two paintings for it. So, like,
Was there something that you guys used to have hanging above your bed or something?
it was the painting called Dream.
Dream? Okay,
Yep.
what's that?
It's so you know Neil Gaiman from Menominee? He's a writer.
Okay. No.
He wrote like the Sandman series. He wrote the Coraline, the movie. He wrote
Okay.
Stardust. He's a famous writer. His wife's like in the Dresden Dolls. She was a musician for years. So like I got her into the Dream series because the art style is very inky and like very much like what she was into.
Uh-huh.
And I told her like when we had split and stuff, I was like, it was really weird having Dream above my bed, because like you kind of painted it for like our room, and it's not really our room anymore, after everything that just transpired. So like it's kind of like this weird thing hanging over my head. I prefer if you took it back. So
Yeah.
she took it back, and she was like, "Well, I really don't want it either, so I'm going to trade it with somebody."
Okay.
Because it's still a good piece of art. So
Yeah. Yeah.
her and Max decided to swap art.
Oh, okay.
And
Have you ever been with her or Alex or anybody from the Menominee area, Dunn County area, anything over there?
all of them together.
Just you or her? Any of you guys?
Well, we traveled. Like
You go
went to the Institute of Art in the city's not.
No, but I mean to Dunn County, Menominee area.
Like
Anywhere over
we
there.
went to the Raw Deal. I think
Okay.
one of her friends had an art show.
Okay.
Ellen, I'm not sure like what her last name
Okay.
is.
All right. Any places out in the country? Any places you like to go, or anything she like to go, or?
I'd gone to the hills like
Hills?
before.
Okay. Like, you know what they were called? Just hills? Hoffman.
Yeah, we can.
You got that already? Oh, gone?
Yeah,
Okay.
he biked there a couple times.
Oh, okay.
And you went there with her. Did you ever went there with Alex at all?
I've never gone there with Alex. I've been there with 3 or 4 girlfriends. I've been there with some of my friends. Like we used to go there. We used to go to Rock Dam. Like we go places. We go fly fishing. We go places to go hiking. We go. I mean, snowshoeing, like things like that.
Now you talked about how the whole thing went down with Alex. What do you know about the whole thing with John? I'm not trying to bring up a bunch of
Not much.
but I'm just trying to piece everything together.
Not much aside from the fact that she got drunk because they were calling her a pussy and stuff and telling her that she was like, you can't drink like us and blah blah blah, you fucking pussy and stuff. And like, she tries to be hardcore, like tough girl sometimes. And she was at their house drinking, and I guess at some point she was puking her guts out, like couldn't keep her shit together. And Ryan went to bed, his roommate, and she thought she was going to bed in like his son Warren's room because he was taking her like to a room. And one thing like led to another. She said she passed out. She thought she was in the child's bed, and then she woke up and he was like inside her, like saying things and like holding her down and saying like, you know, I'm gonna, and she was like, what the fuck is going on? Because like, this is the guy that I talked to about the abortion and how scared she was, and it's like, she's drunk, she's a minor for drinking, you get her completely intoxicated, and then you risk her getting pregnant again and possibly having to have another abortion because he had told her to take care of it if anything happened. I'm like, you're literally destroying someone again. Like, who went to you for love and safety? Like, this little triangle, like these two people that are like involving themselves and playing these games with a definitely injured, scared person are not out for like her. They're out for like getting themselves whatever they want.
Okay. And where was that? You said Ryan's son's room, or did I miss that?
John's son's room.
John's son's room.
Well, I think it was in his bedroom. She thought she was being brought to Warren's room because his son was gone for the weekend or whatever.
Okay.
I think it was
so this
night.
is different than
The assault here. Yeah.
So it happened more than once.
Well, she had kind of thought that maybe it was a nightmare. She'd been raped and stuff before, so like she wasn't sure. She said she had a feeling because when she woke up and she like went up to go to the bathroom and stuff, that she could feel like inside of her. So she was like, something's not right. I just want to go home. And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll drop you off. And you know, she was stupid to just. She liked her car so much that was like her freedom. So I thought it was weird that she let him drive her out there to a place where he could just unplug the computer, like the modem, and she would have no, you know, connection to the entire world. But she trusted these people.
Yep.
She trusted them, and she let her guard down because they were into men, and they were into this, and you were into that. So,
how'd you feel about that? She told you then, was that?
I was mad. Like, I mean, when she told me like he had dropped her off here and like kind of wheeled his way in saying he needed to use the bathroom, and she went up to the room to start like, you know, getting clothes and stuff together to change and take a shower, and then he walked into my room and said, I'm gonna fuck you on Jason's bed and a bunch of other shit. And she said there's 3 different things that happen when that stuff happens. You either fight or you flight or you freeze. Like, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people freeze because they just they worry that they try to like escape their mind and like look like they just turn off.
Yeah.
They turn off and they let it happen, and then they just try to like But yeah, I was furious. He was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He was one of my best friends. I trusted that guy with my life. He came over here so many times when he was suicidal. Like, he told me so many times, Doc, you're saving my life right now. I'm going through so much shit, man, and you're fucking saving my life. And I was like, that's why I'm here, man. I love you guys.
Yeah.
So I was pissed, but like, if he would have put a gun in his mouth and called me and said, like, I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out after what I did, I would have drove over there and stopped him. I would have tried to fucking ride my beat up ass car over there to fucking.
What car is yours?
No.
Okay. So, did you guys go anywhere that night when you found out about it?
She was at a hotel.
Okay.
Because I thought it was weird that she didn't want to stay at anybody's houses in town. But she had a bunch of interviews and stuff to do the next day. So I said, well, I can get you a hotel. Just pay me back whenever. I get a military discount and stuff, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and she told me all the stuff that had happened.
Okay. Did you ever have a conversation with Josh about that then?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I told Josh, we need to get some law enforcement and stuff here. Like, you need to, like, we need to figure this out because I'm mad right now.
Yeah.
And just so we have it, did you ever, when you were talking to Josh, did you ever say, I'm gonna fucking kill him if you don't stop me or anything?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'm not
mad. Yeah.
That's what.
And then, like, once the cops came and stuff, I was like, yeah, man, I was fucking heated.
Yeah.
I was fucking heated, but.
When you found out about what Alex was doing, were you ever heated then?
I was mad. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same level. Like, you know,
Okay.
I was friends with Alex and I respected him a lot.
Okay.
But it wasn't like me and John were so close.
Yeah.
Me and John were so close. It's been so hard losing him as a friend because we would talk about the bad things in life a lot of times and the good things in life.
And I guess I'm at this point, and if I was gone and he asked it, and you know, personally, so, as far as your relationships, it's girls, men, girls?
Oh, just girls.
Just
I'm
girls.
just girls.
Okay.
This, folks, is on my list here.
That's kind of a tough thing to figure all this out.
You can think of that you went that day after seeing them that we can just track your
My movements.
Yeah. So that I got, just to make sure I got everything, the shift,
Races. I
the
went
joint,
to joint. Yeah.
and Wes was there
Yep.
working?
Wes was working.
Okay.
Serving a beer.
And that all happened, you were probably at the apartment,
12 something-ish. I don't know.
12 to 1.
Whenever
something like that.
the three officers were called.
Yeah.
And then you were back at the PD sometime after 5. So all that happened roughly
I'm assuming
between
it
1
was
and
5 because,
1 and 5?
yeah, because I'm assuming it was
Okay.
closed at 5. That's what my assumption is. Because I had just missed the, I'd seen people coming in and out, but the front doors were like not working. I was like pushing this blue button thing. I was like, what is this? How does this work? Like, I don't understand. And then I went around the back because I knew there would be squad cars back there.
Okay.
Did you happen to get a card from anybody from Eau Claire when you were there, you know, when you were talking to anybody? Okay.
I think all I have is
Conkies?
Conkies, and I have one other one. I have like her lawyer one.
Okay.
Which lawyer is that?
I don't know if I have this on me. They gave me this one, assertion of rights thing, because they were like, be careful, because like you're a nice guy and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay. So, Aaron is her attorney in this thing then, or?
I don't know if he's in all this thing or just like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you another card, so you got another one.
Oh, you got it. You know,
I
like,
don't have one with me, but we can certainly write my name on there.
Yeah.
you know, my sister, her and her husband, they moved, she had MS, so like she moved down to Alabama,
Okay.
In the back.
and it's like the warm climate's better for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I called the crisis line the other day, and she works remotely. Laura's still down there.
Okay.
So I ended up fucking talking to my sister because I was like, you're guilt eating me up. I could have fucking, you know, why couldn't I help these people I loved, you know? And
Travis is on the back, and then my office number's on the top. I'm Rod.
okay.
I put my office number on there if you leave a message. Otherwise, call me to get that phone.
He might be.
I get, with this big thing going on, I'm working kind of all over the place, but otherwise I work nights.
Okay.
I'm overnight supervisor, so.
Well, I talked to my sister, for like a while about all this. She's a trained crisis counselor, and it was kind of surreal to do that with your sister. But she's like, Bill's coming up this weekend to pick up the kids, and they're going to drive them back like from Gilman down to like Alabama and stuff. And I was like, God, I'd love to be able to do that right now because this place is just too much for me. But I also like have to maintain transparency with like all these people that want to know everything. I mean, I don't even know what my options are at this point because I don't want to seem like I'm leaving the fucking state. Like.
No, we got a phone number. I ain't nothing.
Is that a kosher thing to be able to do? Like,
I got no issue with it.
I mean, I have drill on the 6th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and like, if their offer still stands, so like, they have a spare room, and like, I do eventually want. I've been talking for months about moving back down south.
Yeah.
Because I love the south.
Where'd you grow up at, Jason?
Mixture of Owen Withy, like Owen with.
Stanley, Owen Withy area?
My Owen Withy, Curtis,
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yep.
Marshfield,
Okay.
Medford. Like, we lived down south for a little while. Like, my grandparents are still in Georgia and stuff. Like,
Okay.
kind of like,
So where do your folks live that direction then?
well, my father's deceased.
Okay.
My mother's
Sorry to hear you.
not in the picture.
Okay.
Just,
Okay.
he died like 2 years ago. He had a crazy vineyard up in Taylor County.
Oh.
He would take in homeless people off the road because he was a truck driver,
Uh-huh.
and then rebuild their lives. Like,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
like needles in their arms under bridges, and then
Yeah.
like fast forward 2 years, and he's talking to his 16-year-old daughter again, and he's got a job. And, before that, he was like working at Ford Motor Company, or something. Like, his wife and other daughter were killed in a car accident, so he lost his fucking gourd. And,
Uh-huh.
just remember,
Oh,
they posthumously gave him some award for rebuilding like some
yeah.
30 some odd lives.
So that's cool.
Well,
Just kind of what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
kind of how we fit into some of this.
I'm a lot like my dad in a way.
Yeah.
I just want
Good things to happen to people.
I'm a fixer, and like I try to like I'm a doc and a fixer, and it's like sometimes you can't. So
Sometimes it sometimes it doesn't happen.
So really kept talking to my sister. She's like, you couldn't have seen this coming.
No.
And I was like, that's the hardest thing.
Right.
The hardest thing is like
Yeah.
hindsight's 2020. Like what
Yeah. You
the
can.
fuck were they thinking? You know?
Now in hindsight, was there anything different about either one of them that day that just, I know you said you seen some red flags. You were kind of shaking.
I thought red flags about like possibilities of like this. Because like, like he's got a silver tongue and she's naive as shit. I'm like, I just felt like this is a probable situation where they're both going to tell me to my face and the cops to their face that they're going somewhere public. And they're going to be like, as soon as they start driving, they'll be like, well, we don't want to have this conversation at the coffee shop. Or we don't want to have this around people, like, it's too intimate and blah, blah, blah. And like, in my head, I kept running the ideas like, he's going to talk her out of going to a coffee shop in someplace public because he's going to want to be alone and be able to talk. And I mean, that's like what he would do when I was gone. Like, he wouldn't talk to her when I was around town.
Mm-hmm.
He would wait till I would go on military hours and then like, hey, we should go for a walk, or hey, we should go for this. Like, he wasn't the person who dealt with things in the light or in the public. He dealt with things behind doors and in the dark. So I kind of had.
Did you have any indication ever that he was physically violent with her, or
Choking in the ear, like all that kind of stuff. Like,
choking?
Was that was on the sexual acts kind of?
Sexual and like I think just the whole like rapping, like making noise, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do these things. Like if you saying things to like to make someone act the way you want them to act based on like your own physical harm, and it's like that's not a way to make somebody love you or be with you, is to like constantly put yourself in jeopardy. That's unhealthy.
Right.
It's super unhealthy.
Did she say anything to you when you went to the hospital in reference to any of this incident?
No, she had no idea. Like, I mean, I felt really bad post, like after all this had come out, like, because I did ask, random questions, like, where the fuck is your car? Like, what were you doing in Menominee? Like, what is going on? Like, I thought they said Menominee Street and Owen Park at first. And I'm getting mixed. Like, you were actually in Menominee? What were you doing out there? Like, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what, like, and just, like, completely, like off. Like, she was checked the fuck out.
In the more recent days, did she kind of check back in a little bit? Or?
I mean, she's been pretty heavily sedated. And we didn't really talk about anything. We just talked about, I would ask her, hey, what kind of music do you wish you could listen to today? Because it's got to be killing you to not be able to listen to your favorite music. And she's like, I want to listen to, This Too Shall Pass, or like Born Ruffians, or like something else. And be like, cool, like, I get a chance, I'm going to listen to that song for you, because you're still important. Still fucking love you to death, kiddo. But like, we talk about anything and everything besides the case and besides the investigation, because it's like some Uno, do some art. I'm not trained for that kind of stuff, I mean, if she would ever bring up even like a thing, like if she would ever say like, I want to know what happened, I'd be like, me too, but like, let's not talk about it. Let's just talk about, I was trying to like be adamant about changing gears and changing tangents and like into that. I'm not, it's not my job to like sometimes I do like act like I want to solve the case because like at first I was like I want to fucking solve this case because I want to know that he's okay. I want to know what the fuck's going on, and sometimes it's hard to like let go of that. You have all those thoughts in the back of your head. Like I told my friends, like something's wrong because there would be a paper trail by now for him. Like if he was on the run, and I was like, we have to prepare for the worst in this. And like when I talked to Bree and she cried with me in the alley, like it's like Bree, he could be deceased. And she's like, what? And I was like, it doesn't make sense. Like he could be deceased. Like, and this was like a day before we found out, and she freaked out. And I was like, I don't know. Like it's Arkin's razor. Like it's a logical conclusion right now. Like it doesn't make sense. Where else would he be? Like hiding out at a friend's house or family's house? How would he do that without his phone? He'd have to have his phone out. What's going on? Like there's something going on.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Guys get some stuff.
Don't think I got anything. You wear that coat pretty much
all the time. Yeah, because I got Pendleton, the best company to ever make wool out of Oregon, 1863. And a bunch of other wool.
Okay. Keep you warm and dry.
Warm and dry.
Okay. I think I got everything that I need. I really appreciate it. I know you didn't want to.
Yeah, really didn't want to.
I know.
But I really appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not trying.
I know.
I'm not trying to do anything, but like.
I know.
I just don't want.
Really helps us.
It scares me, man. Because like I want to trust them. I want to trust everyone, and I want to trust the police, and I want to trust the investigation. But
we're gonna work it.
I got kind of freaked out. I mean. Getting pulled out of the bar and talked to and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Like that freaks me out and makes me scared.
But it was if you look at the totality now you know why.
I mean, literally at that point, I thought like, I'm drunk and they're gonna try to pin like me hurting her on. Oh my God, why would I do that? Like I was freaked out. Like you could tell I was probably freaked out. Like. Well, sure, take my phone, man. Like I've been here. I thought that's what he wanted it for, to like track my movements for 48 hours. And then my phone was down the entire night. I'm like, well, he probably dumped everything. So like, now my wiener's everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
An investigator attacking one of our drug investigators. Come across me sometimes the nicest to people because they're used to just talking to people.
Not that
in meth and. Usually, the way we got back to them was pretty stern and pretty much people was like, so like, I'm sure there were like one or two, maybe three. Military technique, so that's all I was doing was pick it out. Like, I'm a good guy. All I want to do is see. All I want to do is see the truth.
That's where we're at. That's what we're working on. So if you hear something important, give us a shout.
Well, I mean, I hear a lot of stuff. It's like all these.
Well, I mean something you think's pertinent, then
What do you consider pertinent?
Whatever you think is a pertinent.
From the family, from her, from friends, like
whatever comes up. If you think it's something that's truthful that needs to be addressed, and
maybe I'd rather let the cops look at it.
Well, how do you read out like the talk from like the talk?
Well, you just with all your talking to people, you'll feel it. You'll know.
You seem to really have a good handle on people be truthful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
all right.
And if you're not sure,
decide it.
That's in Dunn County.
Yep, Dunn County. So.
hard to get a hold of us.
All right, see you, Jason.
Really appreciate it.